Hello everyone, here's a small addendum to the review of Axis and Allies Stalingrad that I've just posted. A couple of things I forgot to mention, all likes, which I do want to point out for the sake of completeness. First of all, it's a detail, so as far as that's concerned, perhaps it's not strange that I forgot to mention it, but I really like the way they formed and shaped and especially colored the battle and assault tokens. They really stand out, especially the battle ones, so that you don't forget that there's a battle going on somewhere and you don't resolve it, which is, of course, very important because you have to do that both on the attackers and the defenders' turn. So I really like the bright orange, it really stands out. Secondly, what I really like about the battle board, even though I mentioned the fact in the main review that I like the fact that there's a battle board in the first place, but it's also great that it really details and it points out what happens when you're supplied, when you're unsupplied, where each unit goes, and also it's really necessary. It wasn't done to make the game more complicated or something by adding supplies into it, even though they were also part, of course, of Battle of the Bulge and North Africa. But it's really essential. I really found out about that especially when playing the Operation Uranus scenario. I've actually got the other one set up, the Race to Stalingrad, but in the Operation Uranus scenario, both sides, I haven't actually done the math, but I think 95% of the units they both have inside the city are infantry. So once you're out of supply, you can't attack anymore unless you fly supplies in. So the supply tokens, so that's where those come in really handy and are absolutely necessary. And so you don't attack anymore if you don't have those supply tokens. You defend at a -1, and that's great about the fortified zones such as Mamayev Kurgan, so that you do still attack normally. But that already makes the attacker's job a lot easier if you have defenders which defend normally and not at a +1. So because they cancel each other out, the bonus and the penalty. So yeah, that's what I like about the battle board and the supply rules. Thirdly, I also like the way the details and the map and everything. For instance, if you look at the chemical factory, you can really see I believe they called it the tennis racket for obvious reasons. So I really like the artwork. It's not over the top. But it is detailed. It looks really nice. It really fits the theme as far as I'm concerned. So that's definitely something I wanted to point out as well. And finally, one other thing I didn't really go into detail about before is the victory conditions. I feel they really make sense. Of course, the Germans should have retreated way sooner. Maybe they shouldn't have attacked Stalingrad in the first place, but that's what they did. And the total victory and the major victory really reflect what the Nazi leadership, or especially Hitler, what he wanted from the troops. Even when the situation was hopeless, he still wanted them to stay inside the city and hold on to any meter of the any square meter of the city. And if you're still in supply, I can understand why in game terms that translates into a major Axis victory. Of course, the total one being simply having captured all zones inside the city that are actually worth RPs. But yeah, that will usually mean that you also control the other ones, I suppose. And also for the Allied total victory. For the Allied total victory, you need to control all the zones to the west of the River Don, or contest them, and I believe control Potomnik, Vertiaci, and Rhinoc. Those three are definitely doable. But yeah, this is very, very difficult to get that done. If you have a good Axis defense, which obviously means that you don't have one relatively big stack in one place and nothing anywhere else. So you need a defense in depth. Two infantry, one behind the other, is much stronger than two infantry combined and nothing behind it, because obviously it slows the Soviets down. So it will be very, very difficult for them to bring that about, even though, of course, they can also come from this side. And a minor victory is simply control of Potomac for the Germans. I suppose that signifies the fact that they're still managing to fly some troops out. And for the Soviets, for the Russians, that it's not possible to do that anymore, and that there's really no escape from the Stalingrad pocket anymore. So I've just wanted to add these few comments to my review. I hope you've enjoyed these points as well, and see you on the next one.